Leinster, the run goes on. It's a attritional win over their rivals Munster, 13 points to 3. Not a real high-scoring game, not a game of free-flowing rugby. It was defensively pretty brutal from both sides. There were a couple of guys who got some pretty nasty knocks, which is, I guess, to be expected. There wasn't as much of like the handbags stuff in this game as I thought there might have been prior to the game. Maybe the ref had a word with them before the game to kind of keep things rugby rather than handbags. But yeah, 13 points to 3. Leinster, it's another final. Munster, it's another semi-final. And another time where kind of concerningly the attack has really failed to fire. They scored their penalty within the first 5 minutes. Munster got the opening score. It was a high ball from Murray. I think Lama took it, and Lama actually looked more comfortable under the high ball this week. And I think it was maybe Stunner that went in there for the turnover. So won a penalty at the breakdown, and 3-0 Munster. And you're thinking, right, if Munster can get in front, make Leinster chase the game, make them uncomfortable. And the commentators mentioned that the conditions were a bit greasy, which is maybe a bit reflected in some of the handling. Maybe they can make Leinster uncomfortable and put the pressure on, make them make mistakes. So 3-0. 10 minutes, Sexton takes a long shot, and at that point, early on, Munster have got so much ball, so much territory. They're down Leinster's half. Leinster keep having to exit, so it's looking pretty good for Munster. And the fact that Leinster, with their first penalty that was in kicking distance, they tried to go for it, and it was a long kick, and Sexton missed it because long and with a bit of angle, he couldn't quite shape it round. It wasn't too far away, but I guess it was a sign of the momentum of the game at that time, where Leinster were looking to kind of slow things down to try and shift the momentum and take the 3, even if they missed it. Munster on 15 minutes had a maul after winning a penalty. Damon de Linde had a big run. He was getting over the advantage line, but running a little bit too upright, and they managed to call it a maul because I think Sexton managed to kind of hold him up. So kudos to him. He's always been a guy who's never really afraid of getting in there defensively, and so it proved with that one. So, Leinster got the turnover. Munster had another line out inside Leinster's 22, but it was messy. I checked on 24 minutes what the stats were like. Munster had 73% territory, and it was 60-something% possession. And they'd only scored 3 points, and you were starting to think, if they can't convert some of this soon, Leinster's going to go down the other end and certainly put the pressure on. So you need to take advantage of those chances when you get them. And lo and behold, like 2 minutes later, Leinster put a long kick through. Earls, who hasn't had a touch of the ball up until that point, all he has to do is clean up the ball in his own 22. So it's a long kick back. He needs to just gather it and probably kick for touch. He knocks it on. It's a brutal, brutal moment. And sure enough, Leinster put on a big scrum. They win a penalty. They don't kick the 3. They go for touch. They go for a 5-metre line out. They maul it. The TMO has a look because the ref says it's an on-field try to Kelleher from the maul. TMO has a look and says there's nothing in what he's seen to call it a no try. Now, this is one that's going to divide people pretty much down to which team you support, because if you slowed it right down, it looked like 2 movements, but if you showed it at the proper pace, it didn't look quite as bad. If you're a Munster fan, you're going to be saying that was definitely no try. It was a double movement because he seemed to kind of put the ball down and then maybe push it again forward. I thought it was okay based on the first glance, and I'm kind of happy to go with the ref's call of what he saw was probably accurate. I don't know. I always like to go with the benefit of the doubt to the attacking team in that kind of situation, but I'm sure there will be people who look at that and go, definite double movement. So either way, it was an awarded try. So Leinster go in front. It's the only lead change of the match. It's 7 points to 3. And it's pretty much Leinster's first chance down Munster's end. Munster have had all the ball, had all the territory. They finally make one mistake, and Leinster punish them for it with the only try of the game. So it's pretty brutal stuff for Munster. 29 minutes, McGrath kicks one out on the full. What can Munster do from that? Nothing happens. And they're not able to really gather any momentum. Leinster do kick one penalty before half-time to make it 10 points to 3. So there's only 3 points in that second half. And you look at the stats at half-time, it's not really pretty reading. There's 8 knock-ons, 4 for each side, which is a lot for one half of rugby. So there's a lot of scrums. Possession ends up being 53% and territory 53% to Leinster, 47% to Munster. So the momentum shifted about halfway through that first half. The tackling percentages are both pretty high, almost 90%. They've both made within 5 tackles of each other, 40 tackles by Leinster, 45 by Munster. And penalties conceded, Munster have conceded double with 6-3. Run meters is an all-time low. I don't think I've ever seen a match with this low run meters at halftime. 52 by Leinster, 39 by Munster. So this is what I mean. Like, the tackling percentages are high. It was an attritional battle. The handling was a bit poor. So nobody was really able to get through phases to actually shift the ball up, you know, with a ball carrier. If they were gaining meters, it was often kicks and penalties. 45 minutes as the second half gets underway. It's a pretty brutal moment because Andrew Conway gets hurt and he has to go off. It looks like he did his shoulder with a tackle on Henshaw. And to be honest, in that first half, Munster's got 39 run meters. You're thinking, man, that attack is... I mean, I looked at the stats at halftime. Earls hadn't done anything except for that one knock on. I think he had no passes, no runs, all he did was knock that one ball on. They just didn't have much going on anything. Earls and Conway are both guys who can start something from nothing, and then Conway goes off hurt. It's pretty gutting. And then a couple of minutes later, Lama from Leinster cops a knee to the head. It's all accidental, but he's got blood bloody everywhere, so he has to go off as well. So yeah, it's brutal. It is attritional. 52 minutes when Leinster conceded a penalty. You're thinking, okay, maybe here's a moment that Munster can start to kick off. They actually find out that Lowe's been taken in the air, so they call it back for a Leinster penalty. Then 59 minutes and 63 minutes, maybe this is the winning and the losing of the game. 59 minutes, Munster win a penalty. It's a long shot for Hanrahan. The commentators are bigging up how his goal kicking's been. He misses wide, and it's a shocker. It's a pretty bad kick. It's a long one, so he had to put a bit of extra onto it, and it doesn't get anywhere near it. Okay, that's fine. Like, it's the one you really would have wanted to get. But then about 4 minutes later, they have another one. It's a lot better. It's one that in a semi-final you absolutely need to be kicking. And he pushes it wide. So they're still within touching distance. You know, they're 7 points behind. They missed 2 penalties. They could have been in front. And when that second penalty missed, I think that's when I was thinking, that's game, man. You're not going to get... You've scored 3 points in like 63 minutes. I don't think you're going to be able to overturn this lead. 67 minutes, Sexton makes no mistake. He kicks a penalty to make it 13-3. At that point, that's probably the fat lady. She's well into her tune by that point. He gets subbed as he, takes the penalty. So Ross Byrne comes on. Sexton's shaking his head. He doesn't look happy. He doesn't like to be subbed, that man, but don't think he's happy with the overall performance. Munster do. I mean, they don't give up. They put a bit of pressure on towards the end of the game. Leinster get warned for penalties conceded in defence, and then sure enough, they give away another one. Josh van der Vlier kicks away a penalty not long after he'd come on. He gets yellow carded. So Munster, despite only scoring 3 points in the first 77 minutes, do have a chance. They got a line out more, 5 metres out. If they can score, they can at least make it a grandstand finish. But they mess it up. And Leinster's able to just run out the clock. So I think Munster finished with a final kick through, but nothing's happening. They were already more than a try behind as the game was finishing up anyway. So 13-3. Leinster too good. Munster's attack. Final stats. Possession 56-44 to Leinster. Territory 53-47. So relatively tight in those terms. Run meters 148, which is not that high in the scheme of things, but Munster makes 74 for the whole game. which is not ideal. Knock-ons are 7 apiece for the whole game. So like I mentioned, the conditions must have been a bit poor. But remember, these teams have not had that many games back since the lockdown finished. But yeah, tackling stats are nice. 88% Leinster, 90% Munster. Munster had to make a lot more, 113 to Leinster's 79. Penalties conceded is pretty high. The ref was a wee bit whistle happy. 13 by Leinster, 11 by Munster. Goal kicking. Leinster just missed the one with 75%. Munster finish on 33%. Just too many chances they didn't take. They had them. Munster had enough chances with both goal kicking and ball in hand to maybe do a bit more, but just the execution was not there. That being said, nothing to take away from Leinster's defence, which is just always phenomenal. They put you under pressure. They make you make mistakes. So this is not just about Munster losing it as much as it is about Leinster winning it. So congratulations to Leinster. It's another final. And for Munster, like I said, it's another semi-final. So Niall Scannell finished with 15 out of 16 tackles, a proper shift from him. Both Leinster's wingers looked pretty dangerous. Both were in like the 30s for run meters. I think James Lowe had like 38 run meters, which in this game was remarkably high. But yeah, we'll see what happens in the next game with Ulster taking on Edinburgh. We'll see how that one goes. But for this one, just another day at the office for Leinster. So yeah, you guys let me know your thoughts on the game. Kelleher's try or no try. What was your thoughts on that one? Hands kicking. How much are they missing Joey Carberry? I don't know. You guys let me know your thoughts. And yeah, I'll talk to you again soon. See you later.